This is Heartland Focus with Tim Clark.
Hey, good morning and welcome to Heartland Focus. I'm your host, Tim Clark. This has been a up and down week. One day we're hot, one day we're cold, but you know what? I will take it. I will take all of it. It's Mother Earth has been good to us. And I know, it's kind of dry, so we do need a lot more rain, a lot more moisture, especially for our farmers. So if it's snow, that's needed snow. I just don't like the cold. So bring on the snow. I'm good with snow because we need that for our ecosystem and for things to work. We need a certain level of moisture and all that kind of stuff, and rain, and so I do that. I do know we need that, but let's just do that without it being so dang cold. A lot of moving parts. We had Senator Justin Wayne was on the show, I believe two or 3 weeks ago, and specifically talking about LB 1025, and then there is also a bill for South Omaha as well, and this has to do with the opera funds. I think there's about $1 billion that's going to be coming to the state. Then you have locally, you got 100 million. The city, the county has money, and so what's important, I think, for me and you, that these dollars, the original intent of these dollars is to make sure that we give these dollars and move these dollars to areas that that have been hit the most by COVID-19. And so they looked at the census tracts where, some of these impoverished areas, economically challenged areas, and the government is saying that the dollars should be concentrated in those census areas. To my knowledge, it's about 25 of those census areas. They lie within District 2. So I think the state, the city, county, all three of those entities, and this is not being political. This is just really looking at what's facts. What are the facts in terms of the original intent of those dollars, to drive those dollars to areas that's been hit the hardest. And I think it would be doing a great disservice to people that live in these areas if they know that the government, the feds, are providing resources to help them get back on track, to help them really get up and out and stimulate the economy and the ecosystem in terms of these most marginalized communities and economically challenged communities, if those dollars don't go to those areas. And so I do believe and feel and trust that all three of those, state, county, and city, will do right by the people, and those and where they know the most needs are. I know the rental assistance, and so there's been some dollars allocated there. There's been some dollars will be allocated towards helping businesses, and in this bill is the LB. I know LB 1025 is the value of that bill is $450 million. That's a lot of money. That's a lot of money. But the opportunity that's in front of us with 450 million that would come from the state. You got over 100 million from the city, and the city, the mayor is going to be giving some of that money out through the Omaha Community Foundation and through United Way. And so there'll be opportunity for community organizations to benefit from that. And I hope that as we look at trying to be very intentional about the usage of that money and being responsible, and really making sure that money get to the people that really need that money, that we focus on things that's going to help people move from just surviving to thriving. That's going to increase the quality of life. And that quality of life really starts, and so there's a significant amount of money in LB 1025 and some things that the county is doing that I really hope that they concentrate and do what's necessary to support community health centers. Community health centers. In this area, you have One World in South Omaha, and you have Charles Drew Health Center, Community Health Center in North Omaha. And let's give them what they need to help people get to a place that they'll, from a mind and body, because you cannot do a lot of those other things that we want to do unless we get health right. We got to get the health right. So I commend the county commissioners, the health department, in terms of that their focus on supporting community health agencies. That's important. There's no wealth without health. And as we look at getting people up and back on track, let's pay attention to their well-being, their health well-being first. And then as we look at moving past that, when you look at poverty, and so mental health, and even at the state level, I applaud the governor and really some of the bills that's before them that's going to feed and give more emphasis on mental health. Mental and behavioral health is so important that we have adequate resources to deal with some of the challenges. And that's not only adults, but our young people that's just been mentally challenged with school, online, wearing their masks. Just the mask thing alone has been a challenge. So I just think we have an opportunity here to really, really begin to make right a wrong. And what I mean wrong in terms of just when you think of some of these areas that I've been speaking about, they've just been not given the attention that they really need to help get them up and out and to create a ecosystem and economic development that begins to start from within versus out, where you create commerce where that community can spend those dollars and keep those dollars within that community. That's where we're at right now. That's the opportunity that's in front of us. So there's dollars, line items for business startup, business retention, business acceleration. And there are also some resources for a innovation center. I've been saying day one, stimulus and stimulus checks and what the governor is doing and what the state is doing and what the city's doing to help stimulate the economy or really get it back to a certain level. That's important, but I don't think that's not sustainable. I think we really got to turn on our innovation. One of my good friends, Raheem Sanders, I mean, he lives and breathes this whole ideal of that we have to innovate our way out of this. We got to innovate our way out of this, and not stimulate. We got to we stimulate the innovation that's going to get the creativity going, so we can start businesses, do things. Look at how many companies they just had to pivot, and we lost a lot of companies due to COVID-19, this pandemic. But we gained a lot of companies. We grew a lot of companies. There was a lot of upside that took place in the last 2 years as a result of having a pandemic. But how do we prepare ourselves for what's to come? So we look at now, but more importantly, spending time and finding reason to spend time to innovate for our future, so we don't get caught with our pants down, or we get caught with just not being prepared for the next pandemic that may hit us 10 years, 20 years down the road. We're going to take a short break, and we're going to talk about what's happening around Black History Month. This is February, Black History Month. So we're going to take a break, and when we come back, we're going to talk about my spin on Black History, where we're at, where we've been, where we're at, and where do we need to go, and how we're going to get there. Stay with me. I'll be right back. Hey, welcome back to Heartland Focus. I'm your host, Tim Clark. Happy Black History Month, all right? Black history is American history. Let me say that again. Black history is American history. And I like to recognize, I think what's important is that we have a month that we at least can say, it gives us opportunities to focus on it and talk about it. But really, this should be an opportunity to integrate Black history in terms of throughout the whole year. The more we understand really about all cultures and all people and their contribution to America, I think that's what creates this ideal of how do we get along, that we can do more together, all those kind of things is understanding from which we've come. And our history has not always been favorable as a country in terms of how we treat each other, how we treat our citizens. That's history. And then really fast forward, really how are we treating people now, right? We are still, when you think about where we've been and where we're going, and this whole, from slavery to civil rights and to some of the things that we're dealing with now, a lot of social injustice. We're still talking about voters suppression and voters' rights and how to me, I do understand and I appreciate accountability and making sure that, if Tim Clark's supposed to be voting, Tim Clark, that needs to be factual and right. So I don't think people are at all saying that we shouldn't have a system of accountability and accuracy in terms of just counting the vote and making sure the individual that is voting, that is casting that vote, and that people are not turning in ballots from people that have been deceased, or all the other kind of combination of games. So I understand that and I appreciate that, but our democracy is largely dependent upon our free will and our ability to participate in this democracy. And voting lies at the core of our democracy. So it's important that as a people that we really fight to prevent the government from turning back. When you think about Black history, you really pay attention to your past so you really don't stumble, in my opinion, upon it again, especially the things that were so painful and caused so much hardship and challenges for people. We do not want to go backwards when it comes to voting rights and access to voting. That would not be a good move. When we try to really promote democracy and free will all over this world, it's tough for us to be the example if we're not living. So you'll see, and on your screen there, the Great Plains Black Museum, and that's here in Omaha, in North Omaha. I really would encourage you to take a work group, call them for a group, have a staff meeting and say, we're going to do something community. Let's take our group and do a tour of maybe North Omaha. They have North Omaha tours, but more specifically, I think you really should spend time with Eric Ewing at the Great Plains Black Museum, so you can understand, get a deeper understanding of the Black culture and really the history of what took place here, specifically in terms of North Omaha. And that's important. I think ignorance really can create fear, and fear can create things that we should not do. And fear will cause us to react and be very, very, be bad, just bad people. When you think about the fear, especially if it's false fear, it just drives too much negative energy. And so you can see there, I believe that's the website for, that's in DC, that's in Washington, DC. And I had a chance to visit the museum there. That's a family trip, that's a group trip. I really would encourage you to see it. It is breathtaking to experience the journey of Black people in America. It's an unbelievable experience. And I would advise that you would take about 3 days so you really, it's not a museum that you can think you can get it in a day. Not to absorb, because it's caught up in so much, you will be caught up in so many emotions and feelings. And as you capture the energy of a people that started from the bottom, that were oppressed, and as you get to the top floor, you will be able to see the rise from each floor of that community, of that people, in this, in spite of the obstacles and challenges that was presented, as as Maya Angelou, the late Maya Angelou, but still I rise. But still we rise. And that's beautiful. That's beautiful. That's a testament to grit and commitment and the integrity of really living out our true purpose. But we got to do this together. When you think about, some of the challenges that that we're faced with, that I think largely is driven by fear, is that we gotta understand and start respecting this whole thing called honesty, integrity. That it really, character matters, right? We got to get back there, and I don't want to sound preachy this morning, but it's just on my heart that I see us heading down this slippery slope, and if we don't say anything about it and create and try to get people focused on how do we stop it from reaching a point of no return, we have to awaken, and we got to do our part. We have to do our part. And so when we come back, we're going to talk about moving people to action, because that's the piece. What's the work, right? What can we do? We look at, this is Black History Month. What can we do? What can you do to become better informed so we all can figure out how do we make this a America that we all can benefit and enjoy? And most of all, prove that the free enterprise system works for everybody. That who wants to be a beggar and a person that don't want to take care of their families? I think most people want to do right by their families, and they want a job, they want to work. But there's been so many pressure points and things in terms of weight that's been put on their shoulders that's not allowing them to get up and out to a place where they can move from just surviving to thriving. As we say in the higher education world, Metro Community College, all get their skill up so they can get their job and get their money up, right? So I want to talk about that a little bit in terms of just moving people to action. What do we do about it? Stay with me. I'll be right back. Hey, welcome back to Heartland Focus. Thank you guys for tuning in. One of the things, Black History Month, where we've been, where we're at, where do we need to go? Lessons learned, right? What is the work? So moving people to action is a social media platform that really will cause discussions, conversations that we will have around what it is, but most important, what can we do about it? We have to spend time. I don't like spending time in the negative vein. I want to spend time in terms of what it was, what it is, only to learn about what we must do to advance the cause and start a movement for true change. That's where we should spend the energy. So how do we move from fear to hope? Moving from fear to hope is about understanding and educating yourself about what's in front of you. So people, they want to motivate, they want to lead with fear. What I'm asking us to do, if we want to dial down and stress down fear, we have to create more opportunities for hope. We create that by sharing factual information, not lies about somebody's coming to get you, or somebody's going to do this to you and do that to you. Let's pay attention to facts. Other action, moving people to action part. We got to pay attention to leadership. Leadership matters. So our upcoming election, please take the time to inform yourself and educate yourself and get to know the candidates that's running. We can no longer take the risk of putting people in office that just don't have the passion, commitment, and the knowledge and the intellect to take us to that next level where we want to go. This is a government by the people, for the people. Politicians are only there because we are here, right? So we gotta just do a awakening and say, we're back. We want the power back, politicians. We want our power back. I'm gonna have to leave it there, you guys. Thank you for tuning in. Make today the beginning of your best year yet. First of all, do what it takes to take care of your health. Self-care is where we have to be. Until next time, be good to yourself. I'm your host, Tim Clark. I'm out of here.